Okay, so let's go ahead and get started because I know Taylor has somewhere that she needs to be at 6:30 her time, 8:30 our time. So I wanted to make sure that I honor that and you guys had plenty of time to ask her questions. If there were any questions that didn't get asked in the whatever little chat threads that we've had going on. So we have about 9 or 10 questions or so that we're going to kind of cover that I think I fielded from different places. But before we get to that, I'm going to go real quick, hopefully about 5 minutes over some announcements. But there's always tons of new things going on at the beginning of the year. So if you don't have these on your calendar or on your radar, I want you to make sure that you put those on there. So if you're just hopping on, make sure that you go ahead and mute yourself. There should be a little mute button at the bottom of your screen, your bottom left-hand side of your screen. Those of you guys if this is your first call, welcome. We are so excited. We've got lots of brand new faces on, and so we are super excited to have you on. And my name is actually Megan Seals, not Shauna Shaw, but if you know, I use Shauna's Zoom account all the time so that we can have as much time as we need to. Courtney, for some reason, it's having you as the big face on mine, but you're on mute, so you seem to be okay. All right, I'll go back to seeing everybody. I lost my announcements. Okay, there we go. Okay, so a couple of announcements real quick. The Success Club trip for 2019, so they plan them a year ahead. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about how that works, but it is a cruise. I know one day they're going to somewhere in Haiti, and one day they're going to the Bahamas, and then you're on the cruise. I've heard they did a cruise 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and it was awesome, supposedly. People loved the cruise. I've never been on a cruise, so Zach and I are very excited to do it for the first time. We got to register today for that. But so how that works is you can, opt in if you don't get an invite. So there's certain things that get an invite. For example, one of those was Premier Coach. So since our team was a Premier team, I got to register today. They have a 2017 top success starter. So if you were a success starter, you hit Success Club for your first 3 months in 2017, and you were one of the top coaches of those success starters, you get an invite to that. So be checking your email, especially if you have been a coach for a little bit. If you're a brand new coach, like just signed up this month or last month, you probably will not get an invite. But what you can do is you can jump on they're calling an opt-in list. So basically that's kind of like a wait list. So for example, we just had to cancel our Riviera Maya trip because the baby is not going to Mexico inside of me. There's different scares and stuff like that with Zika right now. And so we canceled that. So there's going to be some coach that's on some wait list somewhere that gets that spot that we gave up. Okay, so definitely be on the opt-in list. You don't have to pay anything. You can decide you don't want to go when you get off of that list. But that is next Thursday on the 18th, that's something you're interested in. But as long as you are hitting Success Club every month, that trip will be paid for, basically. So, for example, certain number of Success Club points equal dollar amounts. So what that means is like one Success Club point is $5 towards your trip. If you hit Success Club, one Success Club point is $10 towards your trip. And in January, this month is such a big month that they double that. So one Success Club point is worth $20 towards your trip. So let's say that you hit Success Club 10 in January, that would be $200 towards your trip. Okay, so you can see how that can rack up month after month, something that's really fun. So we will pay for our flight, and that'll be it that we have to pay for this cruise. So you can opt in and decide not to go. So I definitely recommend opting in, and you can make that decision whenever it comes up. Okay, Summit. So I haven't talked about Summit enough. I have gone every single year since I've coached. So I've gone to 3 summits so far, and it is literally my favorite weekend. I guess you could call it a weekend. It's like usually Thursday night through Saturday night. And it's in Indianapolis this year. You get to do live workouts with the live trainer. So like Autumn Calabrese is up there and you're doing the workout with her. That's one of my favorite parts, but there's trainings, there's big like opening ceremonies. It is, if you like being around high energy people and if you like to see the big purpose of what we get to do, and seeing the variety of coaches is so cool too. But it is so cool. I can't even describe how much of a benefit it's been for my business, but also for me. So I know there's been several coaches on here. Like I know Courtney and Lauren have been to one. Elena has been to one. I'm trying to see anybody else. Melanie, did you go this last year? Courtney Harden went this last year. So if you're like a little unsure, definitely reach out to one of those coaches and they can give you their opinion of whether it was worth it or not. But fun weekend for sure. The reason I say that is the ticket price for this month is $145. So that is a crazy, they brought the price back down just for January. That is non-refundable, non-transferable. You can get the more expensive one and that can be transferred. Let's say something comes up in May and you can't end up going in June. You can transfer it to another coach if you get a more expensive ticket. Okay. Totally worth it. I think I bought mine like last minute. I know Courtney Hecker bought hers like 2 weeks after she signed up as a coach, like randomly, like, this sounds like fun. I want to go. And we had a blast together. It was such a great time. Okay. Success Club reward for this month is a little bit different. It's not a t-shirt, tank top, mat. It is a webinar with Mel Robbins. She is the author of the 5-Second Rule. So I'm super excited to listen to her because she's one of my favorites. So I think that'll be a fun one to earn for sure. Obviously, 80-Day Obsession, the, stuff has been released, if you will, not the workouts yet. But if you haven't checked it out yet, I made a simple kind of step-by-step worksheet to help you through the eating plan, because that has caused a lot of, what's the best way to say this? Struggle, I guess, with my current challenge group. So I decided to create something. If you want that, it's in our team page. If you can't find it, let me know and I can help you find it for sure. But you're welcome to use that for your challengers also. So all you have to do is copy and paste the link and send the link to them and they should be able to view that document and they can print it or whatever it is. Okay. This is my begging you, if you are like, should I or should I not? And if you feel like you are at a intermediate to advanced level of your fitness. So Autumn's made this very clear that it's not necessarily a beginner's fitness program, but if you're kind of like, okay, I've been working out for several months now, I feel like I'm in a pretty good groove, please do this program. Just a little side note, when I signed up, 21 Day Fix Extreme, that's how old I am in the coach world. 21 Day Fix Extreme was released in February and I signed up in that December. So 2 months into it, 21 Day Fix Extreme released. I did not do it because this was back in the olden days when you had to buy new DVDs every time you wanted to do a new program. And I was very tight with my money and I was like, I'm not investing any more money in this business. And so I didn't do it. And when I decided to finally do it in June, my results were crazy. I haven't missed Success Club since I did that program because I got crazy great results. And it was such the energy, the excitement around something new was a game changer for my business. And so what I'm saying is, if you haven't committed to 80-Day Obsession yet, and if you feel like it's something that you could do, which I believe you could, please do it. Please, please do this program. Start with day one, start with the nutrition, start with the workouts, commit to it, get excited about it, talk about what you're doing, and you will see, if you share your progress, if you share how you're doing with the program, you will see an increase in your business. I will say, like, my fitness is my biggest asset to this business, is what it is. So I start and I finish programs, and that is a huge part of being successful, for sure. So with that being said, I'm going to throw the rest of the time over to Taylor. And I wanted her to kind of start off by kind of just some basics of, how she got started coaching, why she got started coaching, and when she got started. So when, why, how, I forgot what I asked. Tell me a little bit about you getting started with coaching Taylor, and then I'll keep on going with the questions.
So do I just talk and it switches?
I hear you, so you should be good to go.
Okay, awesome. So we will talk about my why first. Well, first off, I'm super nervous to do this, but also really excited. So I'm so excited that you guys want to come and watch me. Okay, so my why. So I don't actually really have a why, so I feel like this is super important for everyone to hear. I never considered coaching until Paige reached out to me. So I think that is something super important to think about. I never wanted to be a coach, didn't really care about being one. And Paige messaged me one day and was like, I think that you would seriously be good at this. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I listened to the sneak peek and I was like, okay, crap, I really want to do this. So that's why I signed up. So everyone that was in that sneak peek, that was the bomb. So well done on that. You guys sold me. And then when? So I think it was November 4th, because that's when I started my Instagram account. It was like 2 days before that. I can't remember, but the beginning of November. So I'm going on my third month, November, December. I guess, yeah, my third month. So not that long at all. I feel like I've been doing it longer than I have, but it's flown by so fast. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I just can't explain how much I enjoy doing it and how much fun I have doing it. So, what was the other one? Why, when, how?
You kind of talked about like how, like kind of goes along with like why you got started basically, which I love that Paige instilled that belief in you. And I think that's important. I think you guys need to hear that Paige was like, hey, I think you'd be good at this. You want to check out the sneak peek? Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. And I love that about how simple it was to have that conversation and you were willing to give it a shot. Okay, so first question someone had was, what are some non-negotiable actions that you take for your business daily? So what are those things, whether in your fitness or in business, that you're like, hey, I'm doing this each day, or at least, 5 or 6 days out of the week?
So one thing is my workout. I never skip my workout, and I usually never skip posting my workout. So I think it's super important that women see you showing up every single day, and it makes them want to show up too. So that is like the number one thing. Number two, I always try to answer all of my messages within a day that I get on Instagram. Right now it's like kind of crazy, and I'm like trying to keep up with it all because I just gained like 600 followers. So my inbox is like blowing up right now, and I'm like really trying to manage it. But messaging people back. So I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and I'll kind of lay in bed for 30 minutes and just try to knock that out, message all the women while I'm still in bed. And then I'll get up and then I'll do my workout. I think those are like the only two things that I have is just messaging, returning messages, and doing my story. It's like I don't post a picture every day because I really like to make sure that my pictures have meaning behind them and they have content. Because I felt like when I first started posting, I was just like really struggling to find things to post about. So I stopped doing that and started posting a lot more on my stories. So then I like save the pictures for things that I feel like are very meaningful to post about.
I love that. Awesome. Okay, next one. So how do you come up with who to shout out on your Instagram stories? I know you've had a lot of luck with shouting out other Instagram accounts. They have shouted you out. Like, how do you come up with who is going to do that? Or who shout out? Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. So it's never planned for me, and I really hate to disappoint everyone on this, but I am not a planner. Like, none of my stories are planned. I just hopped on live today and did a live that was totally flying by the seat of my pants. So who I shout out are accounts that I truly, truly believe in, and they're teachers. Because when I give, it's like there's so many fitness accounts that I just feel like you need to find something else other than fitness. You need to find an audience other than a fitness audience. So it's mainly teachers that I give shout outs to, and I make those connections through shout outs because I know teachers appreciate that also. There is a huge teacher community on Instagram. So if you are a teacher, I highly suggest you making a teacher Instagram and posting about your fitness also on your teacher Instagram, because on my personal account, before I even started thinking about coaching or joined Beachbody, I followed a bunch of teachers on there, and I really wanted to make a teacher Instagram so badly and I'd already made connections with teachers from my personal account. So when I decided to be a coach, I made the Science and Squats, and I actually messaged them from my personal account and said, hey, I started like a teaching journey, please follow me, and they followed me. And then other than that, it's just the people that I've made personal connections with, and I think that kind of goes to another question of how do you like make connections? Isn't that one?
Yeah, I think
we'll get to that though.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I wanted to say about that, we talk a lot about, especially it's even in the new coach training. So if you haven't gotten to this yet, newsflash, it's coming up, but we talk about your 5 pillars. And so like we try to reserve like just health and fitness to one of those things, because we are so much more. Like what were you before you were a coach? What did you love? What did you like doing? What did you like literally one of the coaches that I'm coach friends with, pizza is one of her pillars. And you best bet on her Instagram, she is posting about pizza daily. Like she's now getting married. And so she talked about like her flower girl throwing, or like she had some little graphic about flower girl throwing out like pizza rolls or something like that. And I was dying laughing, but that's like her thing. So I'm sure she has a lot of other followers that also love pizza and probably love fitness too. But I thought that was really fun. So think about those other things. If you're like, okay, that's cool, I'm not a teacher. Well, yeah, but you are other things. What else are you? And try to be specific in those things also. Okay, so our next one is, what stories attract the most women? So like, what are you getting your most like messages and DMs from? And then which stories get DMs from other than challenge group promotion? So obviously you get messages if you do challenge group promotions. And I'd like for you to talk about that. Like if you do your stories a certain way with challenge group promotions, but then also like what other things are you getting, just messages, just conversation going through?
Mm-hmm. So I haven't, when I first started out, I did a lot of the stories that were like, you get 30 shakes, you get accountability, you get, the ones that it's like you post all the different things you get. And I never really had that much success with them. It was when I started to like actually talk about them and talk about how they have helped me, that I really started to receive all these messages. So I remember messaging Paige like, I don't know, a month ago, and was like, every time I get on my story and I talk about something personal, that's when I get a message. So it was like one time I got on there and talked about my why. So like I started the fitness journey because like one time I had literally a mental breakdown in a bathing suit. And I'm like by no means like a large person or like, it's like it was like all insecurities and a self-confidence issue. So this has like totally changed the game for me and really helped me love myself again. And so I started to talk about that, and women were just like messaging me and being like, you are so right. Like I need to love myself. I'm in, like, I want to do this. So be personal in your stories. I know it feels very awkward. But honestly, once I started not to give a shit what other people thought about me, that's when it started to click for me. Like I just really stopped caring and just started to be myself, and people really appreciate that. Because one, people can seriously tell when you're forcing something. Like they can tell. I'll be honest, before I like started Beachbody, I followed other coaches. And it, like, I could tell when things were forced or like they didn't, and it just like was a turn off for me, and I would like unfollow them. So that's one thing I would say to think about. And another thing that I want to point out about stories while we're on the topic is if you rewatch your story and it doesn't make you smile or it doesn't provoke like some sort of emotion, then you should rethink how you're doing your stories. Because again, women want raw, they want real things. I want to connect with a real person. So definitely think about that. Sorry, I'm probably rambling. Talk to most women. Okay, and then other than challenge groups, teaching. Random things, like my scarf got so many messages. And I'm like, this is so random, but I freaking love these scarves, so I talked about it. So just know your audience and appeal to your audience and be you. That's the best advice that I can give for sure.
I love it. If you did not write down, if it doesn't provoke emotion, rethink your stories. I thought that was super powerful. Because there's times where I'll rewatch mine and I'm like, man, today was kind of a dull day. And then there's sometimes where I'm like, Zach, you have to watch my stories. That was so funny today. And he's like, that was not funny. And I was like, you're not my type then. Like, you're not, I'm sorry you don't think I'm funny. I think he gets bored with me, but whatever. Okay. I love that though. That's what's a great tip to kind of analyze yourself. You don't have to watch them every single day, but every now and then be like, would I even watch this? Because if you wouldn't watch it, nobody else probably will either, for sure. Okay. How often do you promote or basically ask like a call to action, ask people to message you about a challenge group?
I would say, well, one of the biggest thing that works for me is that I didn't mention about the stories is when I screenshot what people message me. Like today on my story, I posted a screenshot and like always mark out their names because you never know if then a woman just like feels more comfortable with it. But I just posted a screenshot of where she messaged me and was like, I started teaching. Today is the first day from winter break and I have so much energy. Like, I don't know, and it's just like little things like that that's going to hit home with the women that follow you and are like kind of on the verge of joining. So definitely do that. And then I would say I probably do it every other day, but at the same time, that's not all I'm posting about. There's a whole lot of other stuff in there. So I feel like if I wasn't posting a whole lot of other stuff, I might do it less often because I don't want people to see the same things every day because then they're going to stop watching.
For sure. Yeah. One thing with the screenshot is I noticed that you'll screenshot it and then you'll like highlight the pieces that you want people to pull out. Because if it's a lot of text, people maybe won't stop and read it. So you'll like, I'm guessing you screenshot it and share it again in your stories.
Yes.
Underline certain things like you probably, I think you underline like gained energy or I have so much energy. So I like that you hit on those like feelings that other people want. Like this is what this woman gained. Do you see this? Are you guys noticing that she said so much energy? So that's a really huge part also. Okay. What suggestions do you have for gaining followers or making connections? Which I feel like those are two very different things. So maybe hit on what's your suggestion. You said you just gained 600 followers. Like, how is that happening?
Yeah, that was pretty unexpected. But I posted about the giveaway. And once I did that, it like that night I got almost 400 followers from that. And then another teacher that has about I think 12,000 followers posted about me, and she's never posted about me before. When I did that ridiculous cat shirt video, which I freaking love that shirt if anybody saw that. And she was like, does anybody else ever like wake up and just hope that they have as much energy as Taylor does? Because I know I do. Plus she's freaking hilarious. And then I got like 150 or 200 more followers. So the shout outs for me have been my biggest source of followers. It's not been posting pictures. It's not been, just definitely the shout outs. Oh, and the giveaway. giveaways. Do that.
So I think, I don't know if I have this on here, but like, okay, so I have chat a little bit more about giveaways. How do you choose what you do? And what do you have people do to be entered into the giveaway?
Okay, so I did a giveaway. The one thing that I did different, my first giveaway was not that successful because one, I didn't know my audience. I posted face mask and like 30 people entered it, and I'd gained maybe like 40 new followers. So, which is interesting because I kind of thought that, that would apply to any woman, but not really. So the second giveaway, I did things that I know my followers love. Like I love essential oils. Teachers love essential oils. So I included that. Rae Dunn is huge in the teacher community. So I included Rae Dunn. A tile was just something I got for Christmas. So it's like I take things that I like don't necessarily need and I will put them in a giveaway. So the only thing I bought for that giveaway that I wouldn't have already bought, like the essential oils, I get the package every month. So I just throw that in there. And then were the Rae Dunn mugs. So that giveaway cost me $10. Because a Starbucks card was gifted to me as well. So it's just thinking about things like that, and your girl's all about reusing.
Okay, so what did they have to do to enter into the giveaway?
Yes. So this giveaway was different because they had to share it in their stories. Well, they didn't have to. They could get 2 entries if they shared me in their story. So I had literally like 50 women share me in their stories, and I think that was what brought such success with the followers, was when everybody was sharing me in their stories. So bottom line, the giveaway was like this picture, follow me on Instagram, tag 2 teacher besties. And then the added was you can have 2 entries if you either repost this picture on your page or share this giveaway in your story. So that is I would definitely do that if you do a giveaway.
I love that. I might have you screenshot your giveaway and post it in our little event for this, just because I didn't write down fast enough. But
sorry, I'm like over here rambling away.
You seem to talk a little fast every now and then with your little accent, for sure.
Oh gosh, when my boyfriend and I first started dating, he was like, I didn't understand a freaking thing you said when we went on the first date.
I love it. I love it. Okay. All right, here's a good one for sure. And I know a couple of people were interested about your conversations that you have. So it's awesome to have tons of people interested, but there is a process, right, to getting them to say, yes, let's do this. So what is your, like, I don't know if this words make sense to you, your flow to your conversation? Like, do you have like kind of like steps you go through ish with someone who's interested? Like, what do you say in a conversation with someone who's interested first, next, and so on?
So I honestly use pretty much exactly what you have posted in the group.
Yes! It works.
It does. It totally works. The only change that I made to it is sometimes I will tell them what the challenge group is. Like, it's a private Facebook group. Does this sound like something you're interested in? And once they say yes, I will say, okay, that's like, I'm so excited you're interested. But like, before I give you all the details, I would love to get to know a little bit more about you. Can I ask you a few questions? And sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll skip the fitness questions altogether. And it still works. So I don't know. It just really depends on how eager the woman is, honestly. Like, if I have a good vibe from her that she's like just gonna do it, then I'll just send like, this is the accountability group. I'll be your coach for the next year. Like, let's do this kind of thing. So, but I use your script.
That's good to know. I appreciate that you're using those resources.
Totally.
Okay. This question, I'm not 100% sure what it means, but like, how do you follow up with those interested? I feel like those are kind of the same thing. Do you ever follow up, like, if you get like with 70 Success Club points, I don't know how you're getting any no's, but if you get no's, do you follow up? Or if someone like kind of goes quiet, like, do you like check back in with them? What's kind of your take on that?
So I have not one of my biggest issues right now is staying organized, like keeping up with those conversations, because they're getting lost right now, and I don't want to make it sound like everybody's like messaging me about my challenge groups all the time, because there's a ton of science questions now and like teaching, so then like all of those things get pushed to the bottom. Sometimes I just forget, but December and all of this month I have not reached out to a single girl, and I have not followed up with anyone, which is, I could probably have more success points if I did. So if anybody has an organizational system that they want to share with me, that would be helpful.
Those of you all that have done the gym test, can you guess what Taylor's gym is by any chance?
A gym?
Yeah, you haven't done those before, have you?
Oh, I know what it is.
And emerald and ruby and pearl.
Which one's the fly by the seat of your pants?
You're totally a sapphire. Let's just say that. You're all about the fun, all about the high energy. Like, I just want to be around people. I just want to have fun. Like, let's all have fun together.
Yeah, that's me.
I love it. Hey, I love that it works, like this business can work for multiple personalities, and that's the exciting part about it. Okay, last question I have, and then I'm excited because we have a little bit of time if people have Q&A live questions. So are people in your groups people you know, or quote unquote strangers? And then how do you get them interested in Beachbody? Okay, so hold on, I'm going to break this into two ones. Are the people in your groups people you know, or are they strangers?
I love it. You already know me, because I'll forget the second question.
I was a teacher at one point in time too, so don't you worry.
So I would say a few people are in my group that I know, like my mom just joined, which is so fun. And I have a few friends from high school, but I would say probably 80% of the women I have no idea. I've never met them in my life. So mostly strangers. And then how do you get them interested in Beachbody? So I don't think I've ever said until I went live today anything about Beachbody itself on my Instagram. So I never, even when I'm having women sign up, I never mention Beachbody. They don't find out it's Beachbody until I send them the link now that I'm thinking about it. So I feel like in a sense that almost makes it seem more personal. Like I'm providing these services for them, and then they come to find out they get like this whole Netflix of workouts. So it's like an added bonus, because I know sometimes there's like this stigma around selling things. So I really try to promote it as like that I'm not selling something, that I'm like really there to help you, which is the truth. Like, I never personally feel like I'm selling things, but I feel like other women can have a stigma about that. So I try to get them interested in all the benefits, and then I explain what they get, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense, for sure. So I feel like people are very much attracted to you and your energy and what you are doing. And then, like you said, it's like this underlying like added bonus of like, oh, and now I get all of these tools also. So I get you as my coach, which is like the carrot. And then I also get all of this stuff. So I think you've done a great job of, like, they called it at Summit this year, curiosity marketing. So basically you're like giving these little tidbits daily of like, look at me doing my workouts. I'm having a great time. I have all of this energy. I'm doing all of this. And you post, like I know you post about Shakeology and stuff like that, but I don't think you ever use the words much. You just are like, hey, here's my shake and it gives me all this energy, and here's this and it does that. So I think you've done an excellent job, for sure, of like niching down of like who, like you've said audience several times, and I don't know if anybody taught you that or if that came natural, but I feel like that's a very, like, if coaches are struggling, it's because they have no idea who they're talking to. They think they're talking to everyone, and they're not talking to a specific group, a specific woman. And the more you can niche down, I feel like the better it is. Okay, so I will be quiet. If anybody needs to go off mute and wants to ask a live question to Taylor while we have her, you are welcome to do that.
Taylor, I have a question.
Hey.
Can you hear me? I think I
Yes.
muted myself. Okay, so I feel like most people's questions, this is what I have people ask me all the time too, like coaches under me. It's like you'll be talking and you'll get in this conversation and then it comes down to cost, or it comes down to, oh, but do I have to get the shakes? Like they just want to do a workout. They just want to be in this group to get motivation for a workout. Like I know you're newer at this, but like do you ever have people get to that point, or do they even know what's going on? They just think you're the one running the group and they probably don't realize, the shakes and how it all works. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when it comes down to cost, I've definitely had women be like, I don't know if it'll work right now. One thing I definitely tell them is that I used to pay $129 per month for Orange Theory, and that I never saw the results that I see now. So I always try to make a point to say, like, I save so much money by doing this program. And because that's normally what I'll send them before I tell them the price. Because they're like, well, my only hesitation is price. I need to talk to my husband about it. And I was like, well, you are literally going to die when you hear the price because it is so cheap. And then I send them the price and they're like, you are so right. But sometimes there's going to be women that are like, yeah, it's not for me right now. The price is too high. And I just respond like, if it ever works for you, or if, I'll be here next month, I'm here when you're ready. And then I'll send hearts, and then that's that.
Awesome.
And just hope they message you back.
Yeah, I like that. I just always have women that are like, is that what the price is per month, each month? And I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
And it just like, see, it never resonates with them. But I was just curious if you ever people say that to you, even just starting out.
So one thing that they will ask me, well, I haven't had that many women ask me about the cost of Shakeology after the sign-up fee. They'll message me and be like, oh, well, this is telling me that it's like going to reoccur a payment, reoccurring payment next month. And I say, well, I always just tell my girls to like set a reminder for 20 days after you sign up. And then if you decide not to repurchase it, you can always call and cancel before it charges your card. And then I'll say, but honestly, most women decide to keep the subscription because they see the benefits and it helps them so much. And it honestly tastes like a milkshake. So.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Yeah, go for it, Lauren. You're good. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if my microphone. All right, so when you get your shout outs, how do you get them to shout you out? Because, like, I've tried doing shout outs, but nobody's shouting me out.
It can be 100% frustrating. I will say that I've never asked for a shout out.
Right.
Because I feel like that's like, a rule you don't want to break.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, okay, but how am I going to get someone to shout me out?
I would say it's making those personal connections beyond like an Instagram. So like there's so many teachers on Instagram that I actually have their phone number and like I FaceTime with and plan lessons. So it's like it goes back to finding your audience, finding how you connect with these women and how you can talk about things other than fitness. Right. And then once they start loving you and believing in you and not so much what you're doing, as your fitness business, that's when you get the shout outs.
So you said, because I'm an elementary school teacher, so I've been trying to get into that elementary world and third grade, all that kind of stuff. But so you said you started a new account just as a teacher account?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Do a teacher handle, something to do with the grade subject. And in order to get into like this teaching realm, and I feel like I'm just starting to tiptoe into it, like all the women are starting to like give me shout outs and stuff, right. Is you have to really post your content.
Right.
Your lesson plans, what you're doing in the classroom. So I would highly, highly, highly suggest you make a teaching Instagram. I cannot suggest that enough.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And one thing I will say about stories, this is like goes along with stories, is just pretend that you're talking to your best friend. Like I get on there and I act a straight fool because that's just who I am. So again, it goes back to just stop caring what people think and just do you.
Okay, any other questions? This is like the awkward time of the call where it's like, because I know y'all have them, but you're not asking them.
Yeah, literally, I'm an open book. Clearly.
I have another one. Sorry. Here's the teacher. I'll ask you questions for days. I think I posted this on the call one. What have you found like peak times when you post on your feed, not your Insta story, because I know that's throughout the day, but like when you post on your feed with Facebook, I had like this, I know my times, but with Instagram, I've been struggling on the time of day when certain posts go dead and when they actually kind of are alive to be seen.
So I would suggest posting them either early in the morning, because I feel like teachers check their Instagrams before work, or after work. And other than that, the weekends are when I've had the most success.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm going to be looking for your teacher Instagram. So
well, and what I'm trying to debate is, can you change your handle after it's already been made?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I cannot, like, I'm starting, like, I'm getting a building, and I'm like, I can't make a new Instagram account.
Yeah, change it. And start, like, what is your handle now?
Just my name. And then, like, so I just have my name, and then I have my, like, fitness. But then in my description, I have, like, lunges to lesson plans, or lesson plans to lunges, and then third grade teacher, and, like, my whole spiel. But my handle is just my name, because it's always just been my name, because I've had Instagrams way before.
Yeah. I mean, my advice would be to change it. Megan, you can 100% correct me if I'm wrong, because you've been doing this way longer. But if you can tap into your audience as teachers, do it.
Right.
Totally.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it. And Lauren is what certified? Is it Google, or what is?
For teaching?
Yeah.
Well, I teach third grade, and then I'm Apple Distinguished. Yeah.
Okay, you got to do it.
I know. That's why I was like, there's plenty of people that want that information for sure.
Oh, totally.
Well, and I guess what I struggle with is, like, I have all these, like you said, the pillars, you know, I feel like I have teaching, you know, I have my son who, you know, he's adopted. And so I have all these little pillars, and I don't know how. I'm trying to figure out how to smooth them over, because with all my different hashtags that go with me, I have too many pillars, I think is what I've come to find. And so I'm struggling, because with certain hashtags, I get people that I don't want. A lot of hashtags I've found are not working, or too saturated. And so right now I'm still trying, and I'm getting the most feedback from the teaching ones in elementary world and third grade, all that stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, which hashtags are working best for my many pillars.
I haven't really looked at my hashtags like I should, like Megan tells us to figure out. Most of mine are just teaching. Like teachers of Instagram. And then I have one that's like Dog Mom. And then I'll do random ones like Sunday Vibes or Monday Scaries, or I don't know, Eat Food. Mine aren't good, so I cannot give you those.
So mine are too much, like, I get businesses, like, because I'm a big foodie, so I do the foodie ones. Well, then I get all these, like, restaurant businesses, like, not. So I've been trying to get the hashtags down.
Okay, so last little tidbit, just because I've shared this with a couple of you guys, but never on a team call. So one thing, and I don't remember, I think it was Courtney Harden shared this with me, that she had heard it from Jamie Innes, Amy Rada, that whole team, and they are killing Instagram right now for sure. So I think what she had heard from some training was that with your Instagrams that you choose, you want them to be in that range of 20,000 to 50 to 60,000 posts. So like when you click on the hashtag, it should be no less than 20,000 posts on it and no more than 60,000. If you look, like Dog Mom has literally millions and millions of posts on it. You are never going to be found when there's millions of other posts on there. Never. You're never going to be a top post. It's just, there's way cuter dogs than our dogs. I'm sorry. It's just truth. It's happening out there. I know there's no cuter dogs than Charlie, and definitely weren't than Riley, but I think it's happening. So you have to, like, once again, niche down those hashtags, and it takes time. I won't lie. It took me like 2 hours one day to do it, but it's so worth it because I have seen growth way faster than I've ever seen before. So maybe we'll do a team call and we'll all just sit and write down hashtags and share ideas with each other and just brainstorm craziness, because that's nuts. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up the call. Taylor, you were a pleasure. I was kind of thinking that you might bust out a dance move or something like that for us.
Well, if you want to end this with some dancing, we can.
I tried to start with some music, and then my Spotify went to commercials. Like, wow, wow. That's the worst thing ever when you're trying to, like, get some music and it's like all commercials. So we appreciate it. We took plenty of notes. And so, thank you for your time, and thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you guys being on. So talk to y'all later, and have a good rest of your evening. See you guys.
Bye.